and gentlemen, you're watching GEEKCASTer. Everything sci-fi, fantasy, geek content, and geek media, geek culture. Woohoo!
Yay!
How you guys doing? I'm Michael, and today we've got
Mother's Milk, aka Dayveonne Bussey. Go ahead, Sailor.
Oh, I thought it was Corey.
Corey's froze.
Oh, hey, it's me, Sailor Leone. You're paid.
And we're live dealing with the real world of the quarantine. She'll come right back. That's Corey, the one and only. So today we're going to talk about The Boys. Amazon, thank you. First of all, thank you. Thank you. I mean, what do you want to say about The Boys? Real quick, if you had to just give a word or two words, what would you say?
Are you asking me?
Yeah, just jump on in. Either of you.
Magnificent.
Magnificent?
It's like Mother. Magnificent. Mother, can I have some more?
I'm not gonna lie to you. For me, I didn't like it. It felt like a
Interesting.
try-hard Watchmen, and then it's like Umbrella Academy did it better. So it's just...
Very interesting.
I'm sorry, y'all.
Dayveonne, pump up your volume, because we got... That's interesting. You didn't like it. You're the first person to say they didn't like it that I've spoken to so far. No. Now, is it the pacing or the what turned you off?
It's the humor. Okay. It's not my type of humor. It feels like if Watchmen was made for a Comedy Central show. Like, they talk about really heavy hitting things. Oh no!
He says he paid the bill.
What everybody else read, but
Let's see if we can add him back.
What's his color?
Can you add him back on your end?
You want me to?
Yeah.
LOL.
So, as they're trying to do that, we have Carl Urban, Anthony Starr, Jack Quaid. There's some really interesting talent. Lass Alonso, which we've seen him in so many different things. The actors are bringing it of what's given to them. I could see where they try to be funny. They should leave that alone and just stick to the drama and stick to the action. I find season 2 less action, more drama, which is a little weird. There was a lot of punches that they gave you in the first season that they didn't really give to you next. But, okay, Corey, explain what the synopsis of The Boys are.
So we meet Huey, a mild-mannered computer repair guy. He loses his girlfriend in a tragic accident. Did we mention this was a huge spoiler alert episode?
Yes, we did.
Okay, so she gets ran over by a superhero named A-Train.
Yeah.
He was recruited by the Butcher, played by the fabulous Carl Urban, and we figure out that Carl Urban is on this hell-bent revenge of killing supers who he thinks killed his wife. So we go on this whole escapade on season 1 on how to kill the Magical Seven. And that's what I think you were talking about with all the action, all the superheroes, all the nitty-gritty of them trying to kill supers.
Right.
And I see Sailor's face. I'm like, I thought you were going to jump in there.
Now, she wasn't feeling it.
I was clicking on you in here, but I was clicking on our actual live stream, and I was like, oh no. But funny enough, I actually just remembered the ending of it. And I enjoyed that. I enjoyed the last few episodes. I'm not gonna lie. Thank you for reminding me about that, because I was like, man, I'm tired of this. Like, what is he, Aquaman wannabe? It just felt like no, no. If superhero, yeah, like the concept of the show is if superheroes were in like our normal life, right?
Mm-hmm.
And face normal consequences. It just felt weird how human we made them, or how, like, of course, would we be surprised if someone with super speed wasn't an a-hole? No, like, we're not surprised, but like, I don't know, I couldn't enjoy it for that aspect. But the hunting down for his wife stuff, yo.
So I think that's where we jump into like the differences between season 1 and season 2. There's a lot of stuff we don't know in season 1 that we do learn in season 2, that the superheroes are being manufactured, not given a gift. And we thought that, oh, this is just the normal day, like you said, living with superheroes. But now that anyone can be a superhero with the magical V serum, where does this take us with season 2? And I understand why people say it's not as much action as season 1, but there are a lot. They take it to a whole deeper level. Like Stormfront being Liberty, and she's been like one of the original superheroes. Where is that going to go? So I'm more excited for season 2 than I am season 1, and I enjoyed both seasons.
You know what I miss from moment 1 was the guy that was invisible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I miss that guy.
I mean, translucent. That's the greatest name for a superhero.
It really is.
I would rather hear the Invisible Man. I was okay with that.
Why would you miss him? Like,
Huge spoiler alert. The way they killed Translucent in the first season, I'm like, oh wow, they're going to get real. How are they going to figure out everyone's weakness? And that's what I'm really waiting on, to see the D's weakness. I really want to see Homelander die, because I think he's just a despicable person and a superhero. He's like, what was
the guy from what's it called? Fry and Leela. You know the show. Futurama. Boom. He reminds me of, the leader of the space troop in Futurama. That is Outlander, right?
Yeah. That's a good point. So what do you think?
wait, what did Corey
Poor
say?
Corey. Poor Corey.
What did Corey say?
So what did you something, and now he's gone. It's okay. So Michael, how did you like it? How did you like it? Go through it.
This is real.
Michael's
This is
been quiet
real.
because I like it. It's okay. I want to hear why you like it.
I like it. I like it. There's a couple of characters that annoy me. So, for instance, the gentleman that starts this whole thing off and his girlfriend gets killed. For some reason, his character really is annoying. Like, I want the villain to get rid of him. And you really shouldn't feel that way.
But the thing about it is, if you read the comic book, that's how he basically is. He's a whimpering, clumsy.
Gotcha.
So it's like, you get rid of him, you're basically killing the show or the comic book.
Yeah.
I could see that. I could see that. Well, then they're doing a good job, because I don't like its character.
Right. When someone specifically has to be someone you hate, and we talk about hating them. Well, in this issue of this comic book.
Right.
Yeah.
Let me stop. I'm just coming for you.
You're so silly. So what did... Okay, let's go into some of the characters. Let's see.
Don't y'all love our glasses flare flashbacks?
Annie January, a.k.a. Starlight. I'm having a hard time connecting how she just kind of turned against, the whole Vought, like, so quickly. I just feel that she kind of fell in love with Huey too easy, Huey Campbell. What did you guys think? Like, I didn't connect for me. I could see her being in between, but she just so quickly went against everything.
All right.
Didn't Old Boy play her? Come on. Why would I be with that?
Well, no,
it connected with me. She's like the superhero version of Taylor Swift. How she goes from
She's Suki. She's Suki. Call her by the name, Suki.
So you're calling Taylor Swift sucky?
No, I'm calling the Starlight girl Suki from True Blood. That is who she is.
Oh wow, fire!
I see that. That's a very good connection, though.
That's interesting. Homelander's consistent, for sure. All right, but okay, so again, so we don't go all over the place, and let's just wrap up season 1 because we really want to spend more time on episode 1 through 4 on season 2. So season 1, they present the character, you get an idea what's going on, you start learning about the serum, not knowing that that serum not only enhances them but created them, right? And also, it was huge for them to put a sexual harassment case within the series. I thought that was very brave and different, because usually superheroes are somewhat perfect. Even if they have an attitude or a little bit bummy, they're not icky. So you had Deep, which is what you're saying, Sailor, like their equivalent of a Aquaman or a Mariner, Submariner, and he got Starlight, the new girl, to do some things, and
Against her will.
pardon me. Against
She didn't want it.
You don't confuse the people if they didn't watch that show, Starlight. And that was huge. I mean, what do you guys think about them putting that whole political social mesh right in between the first season?
It was different. It was different, to be honest with you, because you never really have stuff like that being put on screen. But it was always in comic books, though. So it was like the X-Men, the DC characters. So you have stories that was in comic books, but to have it on the screen is a totally different atmosphere. So it was basically done in good taste. And also it's streaming network, so they could get away with a lot of stuff.
Now, bridging over to season 2, do you guys feel anything for Deep? Do you feel remorse? Do you feel that he redeemed himself?
Nobody really redeems this.
It just seems cheesy at this point.
Yeah.
Why
nobody really redeemed. Oh, sorry.
No, why do you say that? It seems cheesy.
It seems forced. So I understand like how the whole concept of saying these superheroes have like these mores and values that we can also respect as a society, which is, I think, phenomenal to see. But just the execution of saying there's two sides to every story, this is how bad of a person he is and he's trying to rehabilitate, it kind of seems forced more so than authentic, if you get what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
It's not like he's a mismannered person growing up, blah, blah, blah. He has these self-esteem issues and he's trying to overcome them. I feel like we've seen that a bunch of times. You could have given him a different backstory to overcome just to make it more authentic.
Do you think it's bad in a way where they're giving... Are they giving excuses for someone to be a dirtbag, or they're giving reasons for someone to be a dirtbag?
I think they're giving a reason. Oh, okay. You say both.
And just going through history and like understanding the same thing that happened with like R. Kelly, people talked about what happened with him when he was younger and trying to like, one, you have to understand that part of the person's growth and environment. It definitely impacts who they are. But does that mean they should go and do what they did? No, of course not. But I think it is essential to understand the character. But it doesn't make me feel bad for him.
Right.
And now let's look at... we have Kamiko. Asian character, can't speak, fighter. It just seemed a little bit like the very tropey, which kind of bothered me a little bit. But they did mention she is able to speak. She spoke before, but because of being a refugee and the experience that she had, that she just basically stopped speaking.
Isn't that the snake eye syndrome?
No, not really a snake eye. Some people take vows to never speak again. Some people have a traumatic experience and they never speak again. So I thought that was more authentic than.
Yeah.
So I really did connect with that. I didn't think it was tricky at all.
Okay.
I mean, okay, for her being the only Asian person in it's kind of weird that they took it in the refugee manner. Like, I'm an immigrant. I have family that came in as a refugee. So it's just kind of like rolls eyes. Did we really need to do this? How else could we have brought her up and still keep her culture with her and not have it be as traumatic? Does it have to be traumatic? It's kind of those things.
Well, I didn't see it as an immigrant. I felt as though it was human trafficking. They kept her in a box and experimented on her, and they broke her out.
Yeah.
This was just her. So I thought that was a different take on it.
All right. What about Madeline Stillwell? Because I feel that there's so much more they need to say about her role and what's going on, and they killed her. Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Oh, well. Oh, Corey, by the way, turn your phone to the side. Let's see what happens. Will it? There you go. You have to keep it to the side.
Yeah, I had to fix it.
Bang! There you go. Yeah. So yeah, what do you think of her character, her role? She obviously was a lover to, Homelander, but also she was like the captain. She was the agent. She was a lot of different things, and then boom, she's gone, and it seems like there's like a big void there. What do you think is missing, and that will come out in the future in reference to her character? Because they use a lot of flashbacks now, excuses to bring her back. I think that's going to continue.
I think it's a lot of reference to fetishing. So Homelander fetish about that particular woman because of what she could provide for him.
Right, but no, bigger than that, what do you think her role is in the whole story? Yes, they do. By the way, anyone watching this, there is a lot of suggestive fetish stuff in there, but larger than that, like, what do you think her role is in with V? And I feel like she's some sort of a glue that we're going to find out later on.
But I think
okay, go ahead.
I think she's going to be the scapegoat because we're finding out more and more of this hierarchy of thought, right? So she was the face that we got to know in season 1. Season 2, we have Giancarlo and his role in being the head company of Vought. But then we got some backstory on Vought. I think it's going to be more than just her. So I think she's just going to be the scapegoat saying, oh, she started all this. This was under her tutelage, but we already know that it did start way before her. So I think she's just going to end up being the scapegoat.
Okay. Because I just misunderstood the question. That was my fault.
Now, as a martial artist and a stuntman, Dayveonne, are you satisfied with the fighting and the action?
And was in the first season, yes.
Okay.
But the second season, it's like the rest of y'all said, it does feel like a drama more than an action film. But I think that's where the direction is right now because of they're still being developed. So
right.
You just have to go with the flow when they do that at times. When it comes to film, like the show. I'm saying film, but yeah, when it comes to the show.
Yeah, I mean, I do like the fact they make fun of in this magical world that they still have movie deals, they still have toys, which I think is great. They don't really show that, but they do reference it a lot to remind us that this is, if it was a reality, that's what that would look like, which I think is great. I feel like the writers, again, I haven't checked out the comic book, but they don't really know what to do with Deep. And it would be interesting to see them incorporate him back into it. Now, the boys are really the boys that are against the superheroes, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I don't know, man. I'm getting a little. It's getting a little dry in season 2 with them. I almost don't care, and it almost doesn't make sense their loyalty to each other at this point. Like,
Okay, so with the comic book, I'm gonna bring up the comic book.
okay, please,
Pretty
please.
much.
Makes sense to me.
Okay. They're a group of guys that have issues with these superheroes. They
Right.
basically drag the main character involved because the main character basically has no, you know what, not keeping it clean.
Right.
So it's basically to build more suspense into the story, but the way they're doing it, it's like going to be a slow build in the beginning of season 2. But I think the big climactic aspect is going to be like I would say season 5, season 6, where it actually really developed.
Gotcha.
I don't think so. I don't think they're going to wait that long. I think right now we know what each one has a particular set of skills that's why they're in the group. And we all know that there's something that happened previously to this that brought them together. And
Right.
slowly, and they're just dropping little breadcrumbs of each person. So when we get that big reveal, I think season 2 is doing that, is giving us more of the backstory without the action, because when it comes, it's just going to come. And it's just going to be nonstop. It's going to be like, whoa, what's going on? What's happening next? And it's just going to be a frenzy. And I'm excited for that. I think it's just going to, it's kind of like taking the Walking Dead syndrome. Like you have action, you have drama to build up the story, and then you have action, and you have to build up the story some more. So I feel like that's what's going on right now with season 2.
Right.
Correct. I
agree.
Up and then a whole bunch of action.
That other speedster, I'm calling him a speedster, even though that in this world they're not calling him that, but the other fast guy, I think he's gonna die in this by the end of this thing, because there's got to be some collateral damage. It's got to be.
I don't think so. I think Black Noir or A-Train is going to die this season.
What?
No,
Yeah.
no, I don't agree. It's too soon. Too soon.
I think, why would it be too soon? They killed one super in the first season.
Okay,
Too
but
I
that
know.
made, but if you go to the comic book, it made sense of why he died.
Right. But I think this is the formula that most TV shows are taking, because everyone read the comic book. They know what's going to happen, and they're taking, again, the Walking Dead syndrome. You're going to have the comic book timeline, and you're going to have the show timeline. So I think the show timeline is going to be different than the comic. At least that's what I'm hoping for.
Okay, suppose I have a huge feeling that if it'll be Mother's Milk that dies this season.
That would be very, very sad, because I don't want him to die yet.
That's the whole point.
I say get rid of the French guy.
No.
Because he's not serving a purpose, but saying that he's in love with Mayuko. Kamiko. Sorry, Kamiko. Like, you know, I'm in love with you, I'm in love with you, I'm in love with you. Okay. What do you bring to the table besides you have a crush on someone that's not paying any attention to you and could kill you like that?
He's their supply guy. He's like the number 2 outside of Butcher. Mother's Milk is just the
I thought Mother's Milk is number 2.
no, Frenchie's the number 2.
Why can't the brother be number 2?
Because if you remember in the first season, they had Frenchie first with Butcher, and the Mother's Milk was like, I'm on my way out, I want to see my family, I want to stay here, I want to blah blah. But Frenchie was always there for the plan, so I put Frenchie in number 2 because Mother's Milk, he's on board now, but he was real flaky in season 1.
Well, this is why I think they'd rather get rid of Frenchie, because you always have that pull. There's something greater, you know. And even the last episode, he mentioned in episode 4, he mentioned there's a disease in my family of wanting to make things right, changing the world, and I think my kids might inherit that disease. So there's something to look forward to see with him. Now, if he says, you know what, forget it, I'm just going to my family, then I think that'll be an indication with the Walking Dead syndrome. Oh, they're going to kill him because he's actually going to get what he wants. So,
Now,
all right, before we go, because we only have a few minutes left,
okay.
and anyone could take this one. What do you think of the women in this series? Because, you know, everyone's very sensitive and trying to have stronger role models or like a diversity of viewpoints of women in film and TV shows. Do you guys think they did a good job, or maybe not?
I really think for season 1 they addressed certain issues within the women. Like, you got the one that stands up for herself, which is Starlight, and then you had the captain, the Wonder Woman generic, huh?
Celine Maeve.
Yeah, that's one of those people that just like, I'm not gonna say nothing. I'm just gonna do what I got to do and get what I'm trying to get, and that's it. So it was a good way to actually introduce that, because this is actually what goes on in the workforce at times. So it makes sense how they did it the way they did it.
Diversity wise, for me, it was kind of flat, which is probably why I didn't really care much about watching it. But I mean, that's what normal superhero life looks like, right? But I'm happy they talked about it. And her standing up for herself is similar to like the Me Too movement, but back to the whole diversity issue. It's just like the Me Too movement, where it was, you know.
You know what? Well, let's go into it, because I know we have a bunch of other things, but I think we have to do a part 2 to this, because it just wouldn't serve it well to just leave it at that point. So, all right, thank you very much. You're watching GEEKCASTER. We're gonna end here and just keep going. So those watching the stream, just hold on and keep watching. We're just gonna pause the recorded portion of this and create a part 2. So just keep watching. Don't go nowhere. Literally gonna click and keep going. All right.